What is Life Like in the Spirit World by Cherokee Billie. This message is based on my personal projections into the spirit world, messages received from my guides and angels. The experiences I've had in the spirit world are far more real than anyone can imagine. So let's begin. We do not escape from ourselves when we leave our bodies. Neither do we gain all knowledge immediately. Death is viewed as the birth of the soul. Ties and affections are the same, as are the mortal and intellectual status of the individual. Changing the texture of the body does not mean that one immediately becomes all-wise. Even though the surroundings are better, there is no sudden perfection. As we are in the spirit body, we continue to develop special talents and interests and to grow and progress in our development. Free will is never overridden, just as on earth. All experiences of love, compassion, and kindness are the basis of life in the spirit world. The longer you are on the spiritual plane, the happier you become. The longer that you live on earth, the less you have to learn of it in the spirit world, and can therefore pass on to higher studies. It is easier to do your work on earth and have time to cast aside errors and vices. First off, compared to the light of heaven, the sun of the planet Earth appears dark. What we in spirit, or what those in spirit perceive as the sun, is in fact the light of the divine God. It is an incandescent world. In the higher realms of the afterlife, all is light, so there is no distinction between light and dark, day or night. In the outer regions, darkness prevails, and the light of the higher planes is intolerable to those that shun the light of love. The main thrust in the heavens is spiritual evolution. Those who have cast off all association with physical form move into an abundant energetic life with no physical form at all. I am sure you have heard these stories before. The brilliance of the light in spirit varies according to each individual's receptivity to divine truth, for the light radiates not from a sun, but from the Creator itself. The afterlife worlds are filled with exquisite colors that are not seen on earth, and become more incredible as you ascend to the higher levels. Everything is more intense and highly energized. Progressing to the color plane, this environment expresses love, truth, and beauty. The main work on the color plane is towards understanding how the mind controls energy and the life force from which the outward manifestation of the afterlife world is created. The form and color of the spirit world can be similar to those on earth, but what is indescribable are the feelings that they evoke. There are no words for the beauty. Sound has a much richer nature than the sounds experienced on the earth. There are frequencies of sound that one cannot even begin to imagine. It is difficult to comprehend the beauty of the music that is played in the afterlife. Similarly, in the higher planes of the afterlife, music permeates the worlds of light. Here, those experience the joys of the angels singing. In reality, it is a musical expression of the blissful thoughts of those who know the infinity of God. The spirit world is a state of being, so it can be as big or as small as you want it to be. I have written before about what you want in your afterlife you will get, and this is pretty much the same thing. The form of the afterlife is created by consciousness. Our minds have complete control of our surroundings. As we think, so we become. There's a great deal of space in the afterlife, and you can explore and experience all avenues of it because you will be there in eternity, in indefinite time. In fact, there is no time in spirit. In the higher spiritual planes, the angelic inhabitants have evolved beyond place and space. The societies in each level of the heavens are aware of this reality to different degrees. In some planes, reality is very similar to the world you are experiencing now. All things appear in place and in space exactly as they do in the world. The highest states of all are completely formless. People can dress as they like in spirit. White robes are not the mandatory uniform. Just as we manifest in the afterlife according to our thoughts, so too clothes appear from the imagination. The angels wear clothing that is symbolic of a higher state of spiritual perfection. The garments they choose to wear to clothe themselves also come from their advanced intelligence, and they are more beautifully clad. Their clothing shines with white light. In the lower planes, the clothes reflect the lower consciousness of the people from those planes. They can appear in garments that are ragged, squalid, and filthy. From the standpoint of consciousness, the past is just a memory, and the future is an expectation. I only understand the reality of now, and that's how we are to perceive it in spirit. It is a now experience. However, in the higher levels, reality and all events happen simultaneously. Although all things in the afterlife have their successions and progressions, the advanced spirits move beyond time and space. The angels do not even know what time and space are. Eternity is not an infinite time, it is an infinite state. The atmosphere in spirit is more rarefied. The light is dazzling. The trees, flowers, birds, and animals are very beautiful. The cities have no blocks of buildings, and the architecture is highly developed. Homes are spacious and far apart. Fruits are plentiful and garments are brighter and of a finer texture. Everything is formed by thought, without the use of hands, and embodies the living character of those who establish it. People dwell in brotherhoods, groups, and associations instead of isolation. Concerns are more intellectual than material. Philosophy, science, and the arts are studied, and those more advanced in these fields live here. Those in spirit are concerned with matters of universal import to earth, and devote their interests to the spheres above, and in training those in the third sphere to help and teach those below them. Since there is a desire to inspire those on earth, musicians, artists, philosophers, scientists, and others get ideas from the spirit world. The geography of the spirit world is as solid and as varied as it is on earth. It is the earth made perfect. Beautiful landscapes abound, and there are vibrations of harmony in the air and water. The landscapes in all aspects vary in each sphere, becoming more beautiful as one progresses higher. Soft plots with grass and trees substitute for gold streets. Light is everywhere, even though it is very dim and gloomy in the lowest sphere. The spiritual sun, not the material sun on earth, provides the light. There are degrees of light and artificial darkness. There is no time or seasons as on earth. Light is obtained from the action of minds on the atmosphere. Think light, and there is light. The degree of light reflects the state of the spirits in a particular sphere, and is normal for those there. Although time and space are not as they are on Earth, there is still distance between localities. The distances are not great because you can communicate with any place by thought, but you must still travel to get there. A spirit can travel with the velocity of thought in the same sphere, or one can walk or float or even sail in a boat. You can fly where you desire to go by will, through attraction, and you can be drawn not only by your desire, but by that of those who may wish your presence. There is no impediment in matter. The only barrier is one's own lack of knowledge. Or a spirit can travel in any and all directions. The degree of purity and spirituality determines if you can progress to other solar systems or planets. The physical surroundings in the spirit world are, simply put, more beautiful than can be imagined. All aspects of nature are perfect. Light is everywhere, ranging from dim to brilliant. People who experience near death agree, most indicating that although the light is very bright, it does not hurt the eyes. Even though there is no time or space, it is necessary to travel to different places. You can go where you desire simply by thinking about it, but there are other ways such as walking, floating, or flying. Buildings can also be constructed by thought, as well as by actual labor. Souls are not idle in the spirit world. The two main occupations are helping others in the spirit world or on earth, and developing the soul. Often spirits continue the occupation and interest that they had on earth. If the work on earth was not right for them, then individuals can change what they do according to their real talents and interests. All work is a labor of love. It may be assigned to you, but is still congenial and satisfactory. Spiritual wealth can be obtained by working for it, and that is by showing loving and unselfish conduct toward others. Selfishness and the self are eliminated in a life of service. Spiritual life is developed by joining in worship and the praise of the Divine Spirit, God. Spirits help themselves by helping those on earth. If individuals have reached a high enough state to go back to earth, they go to serve, not just to say they are happy. Spirits often go to earth to give courage to others to fulfill their duties, to inspire people with ideas, music, inventions, and ideas, and to impress those on earth in the ways of truth and wisdom. They may also aid psychic mediums in their work. There are as many or more types of work in the spirit world as there are on earth. Some are involved with mothering infants and in the care, education, and training of children. Others instruct newcomers to the spirit life, and some teach those in other spheres. There is work in mental hospitals where spirits are treated and developed, and physicians healed. Disfigured spirits visit earth hospitals and help the sick through mental healing. Those in the building trades help individuals build their homes and temples, laboratories, lecture halls, and other buildings. Gardeners breathe new life on plants and take care of the grounds. Musicians compose and build instruments, and artists can bring out pictures and sculpture by waving their hands and concentrating the will. Helping earthbound spirits and those in the lower spheres are a major occupation, and involves traveling to other spheres to uplift and console despairing and lonely souls. Other activities in the spirit world include contemplation and study. Library contains works from earth that are founded on truth, as well as material written in spirit. There is always something to do in the spirit world. Performing duties and tasks is balanced with attending to intellectual and spiritual needs. Travel is instantaneous, and there is no real need to eat or sleep. Rest is changing from one activity to another. Studying and learning are major occupations in the spirit world. Everyone participates to progress both mentally and spiritually. Schools, universities, and lecture halls are everywhere, and for all ages and grades. One never ceases to study. Large institutes of learning have many teachers with master teachers for each specific subject. There are books on every conceivable subject. Most instruction is orally presented. Communication with the spirit world depends upon the reliability of both the spirit and the receptor, or the medium, or the person who is desiring information. The one in the spirit world can only communicate what they know. Just because the person has left the physical body does not mean that they have suddenly become all-knowing. They can only tell us what their own experience is. Personally, I know that there is life after death, and what I do in this life affects what happens in the next one. It is comforting to know that life does go on, and that one can always learn, grow, and develop spiritually. The details do not matter. What does make a difference is the belief that I can make an effort to be of service to others, to love, to develop spiritually, and to work toward oneness with the divine God. If you would like help on understanding of the spirit world or have a personal session where I guide you into spirit, please contact me, Cherokee Billie, and I will take you on a journey that you will never forget. Many blessings.